Check, check.
Gotcha. Check. Am I? Hello? Can you hear me? Thank you.
Is it on?
Check. Should be. Check.
Well, hello and welcome to another edition of 907 Sports, where it is all Alaska all the time. Got Tyler Lane with us. I'm Jordan Rodenberger. As it is officially fall now with the equinox on Monday, but it's felt like fall here in Alaska for a little bit.
Yeah.
Not for any other reason that we've had 6 weeks of football already, while other states are really just getting their seasons underway. But we've had football in our backyard for several weeks now.
That we have, and we're starting to get a little snow, coming up soon on the mountains on the Anchorage area. The leaves are changing color, and football. We're starting to think playoffs are at this point now, right? So it's really that fall time of year, and we got some big games coming up this week.
Yes, that's right, and standings are starting to shake up a little bit, and big one in Division I football we saw between East and Bartlett, which is always a great rivalry matchup for the East side, and they do compete for the boot, the annual trophy there. And this was a really interesting game. Here's the first play from scrimmage, housed a touchdown to get East on the board. And if you look back to last year's game, that was that 6 overtime 50-48 final score there last year, and this one didn't quite play out in that way, despite the way it started.
Certainly not, obviously, and then goes back and forth. The rest of the way, we know Bartlett's defense is one of the best in the state. Obviously, Deuce and all those guys there, and this really lived up to it. Fumble there on the play, but Bartlett ultimately later getting a score down the line. Just what came down to it, though, they just could not capitalize at the very end with an extra point. Missing that there. Costly by 1 point in a 7-6 loss, and now East getting their first win. What a way to do it!
Right, and kicking's become increasingly more important in Alaska. Sometimes some teams don't even think about it, don't even roster it. But honestly, it's been two teams' advantage to get 3 points on the board, or to guarantee that point after in a game, rather than trying to go for two. So there's Deuce, the future D1 Boise State D lineman, just doing it. He's always in the backfield, always around the ball. But this is that other Bartlett score to not quite even things up, but get them right in position. This was in the third quarter, and then there's that extra point that ended up being the difference there for that Division I showdown, which didn't mess with too much of the standings, but it let put East on the board. That's got to feel good for them, getting the win column there.
And you always think, like, regardless of how your season's going, you always want to beat your rival. That's how it is in college football. That's how it is in the NFL as well. So no matter what your record is, when a trophy's on the line, it matters big time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So there was the game-sealing pick there, as that was that was on Saturday, but really Week 6 got kicked off with a great game on Friday night.
Yes, it did. West Anchorage Service, a really big battle for the top of Division I. Before I get this going, obviously, West, not the only unbeaten team left in Alaska.
Oh, right.
I had a brain fart, kind of forgot you. Sotan exists.
Yes.
Homer at the time was also still in that category. But jumping into this, obviously, David Sanders, a big player for West Anchorage High School. He's been one of their top receivers on defense as well, and he really balled out on a special night last Friday. Homecoming. A time to cheer for your class. Get nervous about your dating options and hope your football team can back up your trash talk. And it's that last part that has West Anchorage thankful for David Sanders.
He's a special guy, and as you guys can see and witness, he makes special plays, and we just lean on those guys. You know, you put the best guys out there, and they go and do it.
And while no crown came his way at halftime, that's all right. He found another one, courtesy of the Service Cougars. The senior captain flying around on defense, and on the last drive before halftime, doing it all himself.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see nothing. I looked up in the lights and I could barely see the ball, but I came down with it. When I ran across that goal line, man, it was beautiful. I love doing it. That's why I want to keep doing it.
Plays like that empowering West Anchorage to another victory. Now the only unbeaten team left in Alaska, on the doorstep of another postseason appearance. At its end, a chance at redemption months in the making.
Being on that team last year, how much would it mean to close it out, make up for the last season, and bring a championship back to this team?
Man, it would mean a lot. I had a brother on that team, and we couldn't finish it out for him, but we're gonna finish it out this year for him. I promise that.
Until then, there's time to celebrate. And I think we know where we'll find him next.
And I can't wait to go to homecoming with my friends, man, have a great time, Take it in while I can. I'm a senior, so I'm just taking it in while I can.
And as we take a look at the Division II standings now, as West is in the driver's seat for that D1 after that win, but every team makes it in D1, but not every team makes it in Division II. It's just those top 4 teams, Tyler.
Yes, it is. And as you take a look here, some interesting games coming up. We'll obviously get to those D1 standings in just a second. But D2, obviously, a big battle there between 1 and 3 coming up. Soldotna taking on Lathrop. You've also got Palmer and Chugiak. The Moose can clinch that second spot. And the big one, and this is where I talked about a couple of days ago, if you caught the broadcast, you see that little cluster there between 4 to 7, 4 to 6 specifically. North Pole can clinch the final playoff spot if they beat West Valley, but then it gets interesting. West Valley could pump up, and then it starts getting all kind of confusing that final week. If a few things go our way, so we'll see how that goes as we jump ahead now to Division I. Looking at this as well for Sanders and the guys that you just saw, they're competing for West Anchorage. Now this is a big week for them. They can clinch the top playoff spot in the bracket again. Every team here makes the playoffs, a little different from the other two, but West taking on Bartlett, another 1-3 matchup. That's going to be a big one as well. That would also secure South Anchorage. They can get the second seed locked up this week as well with a win over Diamond. So playoff implications certainly throughout this week. Not everything's locked up just yet, but come Friday, Saturday, we should know a little more.
Right, and those 6 through 8 teams are still fighting because if it's just that difference between the 6 seed playing the 3 seed, or if you're the 8 seed and then have to play the top seed in the first round, that makes a huge difference and potentially shaking things up. So I'm really curious of seeing how the 4-5 game will shape out. Will Bartlett or Service fall back, Juneau jump up? Who really knows? And we'll have only 2 weeks left to determine that.
And we'll see. And Bartlett for sure is one of those teams you can't write off yet, because you think about their losses this year. They've had 2, and it's all come down to like the very end of it, right? A 1-point loss that we just talked about to East, and then that overtime game against South Anchorage earlier in the year, right? So they're a team that battles for sure.
No, their defense is absolutely insane. The most they've given up this year was 14 points, and that was in overtime. That week 2 loss to South. Otherwise, 12, 7. 0 is what they've given up this year, so pretty impressive there. And also got the D3 fellas shaking things up here.
I'll let you take over that one for a little bit. I've talked enough, I think.
No, for sure. No, I got you there. And this is another top 4 make it scenario. So really, Kodiak and Houston fighting for those last spots, and Reddington trying to hang on to that last one. But really it was a huge upset on the northernmost football field in America on Saturday when Barrow welcomed in the reigning state champion, undefeated Homer Mariners, and took them down on their home turf up north to remain undefeated in Division III football in their conference, and then also put them in the driver's seat to host a first-round playoff matchup. So had to check in with Coach Battle up there. He's been doing it for nearly a decade up there, getting the big-time win up north.
Last year's saying was, this is your season. What you gonna do with it? You know what I'm saying? So, the season is in your hands. What you gonna do about it? So it's in their hands. And this week is the Houston Hawks. So we're gonna take it one team at a time. Make sure we do our due diligence and watch film and make sure we get all the stuff we need to do so we can get our team prepared to play.
And some big games throughout. Obviously, like I said, you were mentioning how they can lock this up. They have that game against Houston, as you just heard from Coach Battle this week. That game on the 26th at 7 o'clock. Big one. They can clinch a home playoff game with a win and a homer victory over Kenai. If not, they've got Kenai coming in the next week, so it's going to be another battle as well.
Yeah, win one of the next two, and you're hosting a team has to go up north 300 miles above the Arctic Circle and play a football game, so they're in a good position there. So really look forward to seeing how this shakes up. And of course, we'll be checking throughout the weekend, websites and 907 Sports as we get the high school football season going. But university athletics also picking up around. We got volleyballs in action. Hockey's dropping the puck on their seasons. We're talking about UAF and UAA here, and there's always like those staples you see at the game, whether it's like a longtime fan or people like that. But you always will see that mascot, Nook up in Fairbanks for UAF, and then Spirit the Seawolf for UAA. And University of Alaska Anchorage was searching for their next mascot, their next Spirit. Who can that be? Get the crowd fired up at these home games, and I decided, why not? I'll give it a shot and give it a tryout, and this is what was documented.
Let's see how you did. Yes, that is Jordan in that suit. How do you think you did?
Well, let's just say that happened last week, and I still haven't gotten a call back from UAA to follow up. Yeah, I mean, I was checked my coverage plan and everything, make sure I had full bars. But I haven't gotten back to me. There must be, maybe it's in my junk email, my spam or something, because I thought I was a lock. But I don't think I'll be missing any of the games as Spirit, and I'll be just covering as a reporter, I think.
Well, you said Nook's around as well, right? So maybe you go to Fairbanks, maybe give that a shot as well if they're ever looking around.
Wiley the Wolverine, Wolverine's also a notable mascot. So yeah, maybe just give it a shot. Just checking it out, dipping the toes in there. So
yeah, you have some options.
Yes, it is as hot as it looks, and it is as hard to see as it looks. And I didn't have skates on, so just imagine what they're doing with the ice skates on. So shout out to all the mascots out there. Kind of an unsung position there, and they're the ones bringing energy, firing up crowds, all that good stuff. So shout out to them.
Yes, definitely. Bring your energy to all the games this week, wherever it's high school or college. There's going to be plenty of action for you guys to check out over the next couple months for sure. Until then, we're going to get back to it here. Obviously, Week 7's coming up. Some big stuff going on today as well. So stay tuned for that on the broadcast. Until then, for 907 Sports, I am Tyler Lane. That is Jordan Rodenberger.
Yes, sir.
See you guys later.